what I really advocate is that you can enforce, but you can enforce with kindness. You don't have to be obstinate about it, and you don't have to get the perception that you're above anyone. This is an even playing field here. Absolutely. And as long as you're breathing, you all are going to have an experience, whether positive or whether not so positive. But if we all have understanding, then things will get done. That's my purpose.
Welcome to Springs Uncovered, the podcast where local entrepreneurs, new homeowners, and our vibrant community come together to unlock the secrets of success.
We're going to be your go-to source for everything happening in our community. Whether you're a seasoned landlord, a new homeowner, or simply a resident of this beautiful city we live in, we're here to keep you informed, engaged, and connected. Each episode dives into the latest in local real estate trends, important property management updates, and the ever-changing legislative landscape that impacts landlords and tenants alike.
We'll also highlight exciting upcoming events and spotlight the hidden gems around Colorado Springs that make our area so special. Join us as we explore how to properly care for your home, stay ahead of industry changes, and keep you in the loop of everything new in our growing community. Stay tuned for expert insights, community stories, and much more. I'm Lorenis Perez.
And I'm Natalie De Herrera, and we are your local real estate property managers and hosts for the show. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Springs Uncovered. I'm Lorenis Perez, and today we have Andrea Jones with Links Management Solutions. Andrea, welcome.
Yes, welcome, Andrea. So glad to have you on today. I'm super excited to talk about HOA management and how you contribute to the community for homeowners, tenants, and how that correlates with property management services as well. So go ahead and start by telling our listeners about your background. Tell us who you are and all about your company.
Well, I'm a CEO of Links Management Solutions and also an association manager as well. Been doing this. We are coming up on our 5-year anniversary with our business. So we are thank you. We're super excited. So we do HOA management for the moment right now. And the other thing that we are really big on is education. So we offer HOA board education sessions to help educate boards about those topics in reference to law, in reference to insurance, in reference to cybersecurity. It's really important to me to have education as a piece of what we do. So we do that as well. But my former life, I tell people, I used to be an electrical engineer. So I'm your numbers girl. Yeah, I'm your numbers girl. But I still dabble in that, but not as much. So this is a way for me to get involved with people, but not get involved with people. So it's me to kind of be their help partner to help them with their with the home that they purchase and the community that they live.
I love it. I love also that you said I dabble in electrical engineering. Like it's a Saturday afternoon thing to do.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to see what homeowners would want to know from an HOA management company, why they even need one, or where their HOA dues are going, and for the tenants as well. And then what can help our relationship moving forward. Like you said, I don't feel like we need to be adversaries.
Right.
We're very closely entwined with real estate agents, HOAs, and property management companies, just like homeowners are very, very closely entwined with tenants.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a lack of information, a lack of understanding from the other side.
Yeah, I feel that everybody benefits if we can interconnect with each other. It helps. It just helps the flow. And it helps everybody to understand what our roles are. My job is as an HOA manager, is to work alongside homeowners and to help them according to that association's governing documents, and to help them feel that they made a great decision in purchasing their property. And mainly, we work with, to honor the governing documents to either maintain or elevate their property value. That's to me, is the baseline function of a management company. Okay. And how we do that is we make sure their balance sheet looks favorable, that their level of people that owe is very small, but that the dues that they pay goes for what we call common and limited common elements, so that it maintains the aesthetics of that property. Okay. A little different than as me being a property manager. The biggest difference, people call us property managers, even I'm an HOA manager, and part of that is because I deal with homeowners. That's my exclusive responsibility is to the homeowners.
Sure.
The homeowners deal with their tenants if they need to, or they've hired a property management company to do that for them. So my primary role is to deal directly with the homeowner.
Perfect. I love the way that you put that. You broke it down real simple, easy to grasp, small bites instead of, it can be a little daunting to talk about governing documents and
It's very daunting. When you sign the papers at closing, you're usually given this large stack of documents.
right.
And in there should be, the governing documents. And it's very daunting to have to think that, oh, now I have to read all this. Now I need to know what it says.
Yeah.
But we're the help partners with that too. We're the help partners that you can call us and ask us those questions, does this, because they may have family or friends that are in different HOAs. So every set of governing documents is different. They are not the same. They're not cookie cutters. And that is tailored based on the developer and what that developer deemed to be important for that association. You have governing documents that were originated way back in the 80s, and then you have governing documents that were done right now with new build, and they are not the same. But the basics in there are very simple. What do your dues take care of? Who is responsible for what are owner responsibilities, what are HOA responsibilities, and all of that is defined in your governing documents. So that's, it would be nice if all governing documents had I call it a fact check list, cliff notes of what everybody's responsibility is, but you kind of have to dig harder to figure that out. But we're here to help with that too.
Yeah, and it might not be the same for it's a different association.
Yeah,
association for single family homes would be completely different.
That is correct.
For condominiums or townhomes.
That is correct. Yeah, because single family homes normally, the biggest difference is insurance. Because your single family homes, the homeowner takes care of the insurance for that whole building or that whole unit. Whereas in a condominium townhome situation, you have a master insurance policy that takes care of the roof. That's not a responsibility of the homeowner. However, when the homeowner has to sign up for property insurance, they need to have another part of their property insurance, which is called loss assessment, that deals with that in the event of a catastrophic loss for that roof. Then that's the next piece to make sure that they're covered with that as well. So it's very different, but that's the biggest difference in reference to single family homes and townhome condominium concept.
Okay. So explain to me, what are some of the benefits of having an HOA?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is that your community looks uniform. Based on the governing documents, some governing documents dictate the color of the buildings. There's times where you have someone that comes in and they want their house to be bright purple and pink and, yellow streamers or what have you. However, in a townhome condominium community, there may be specifics on what color is your door, what color is the outside exterior, what if you have shutters, what does that look like? There's also aesthetic as to what does the lawn look like. The other piece of it is, can you park your car on the grass, or does your car need to be in the garage? I mean, those are things that help keep the aesthetics of the community uniform, so that when it's time, if you have to sell your property, then you don't have to worry about your next door neighbor has grass, it's 10 feet tall, and it helps to give that much more value to your home. So that's the biggest reason. So it all looks the same. It's a great place for security. There's some communities that are gated. You have that option too, that it's gated. So that's a sense of security, a sense of being safe. That's more in it is in single family homes, but it's also getting more and more to be in condominium townhome activity as well. So that's a benefit. The other benefit is your master insurance policy, which takes care of, as we call it in the HOA world, limited elements and common elements. So common elements are parts of the community where it's used by all. Limited common elements is where it's used by some, but not by all. And one of the biggest limited common elements, if you have a garage, is your garage. But we take care of that, whether it be the landscape or whatever. The concrete, your yards are limited common elements because everybody isn't in your yard, but you might have a common area where everybody can come. You might have a pool where it's considered common element. association takes care of that too, to maintain that. We maintain your lawns. I mean, there's a lot of benefits of things that you don't have to do per se. Snow removal is a big one as well. Here in Colorado, snow removal is really big lately. So those are the common things. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is to maintain or elevate your property value. And it's a little easier to do that in a what we call a covenanted community, where you have documents that homeowners have to adhere to. When people say, I don't have to do that, but honestly, when they took possession of the property and they sign their name on the document, that signature, the state of Colorado says, is that signature says that you agree to abide by the governing documents in that association.
I love the way that you put that, actually. And that also kind of leads into my next question of where the money goes for the dues. Because looking at it from the outside looking in as a homeowner, in my eyes, I'm like, man, why am I paying all this money every month?
It's all different. Some associations, the cost is very minimal, as in single family homes, because they pay for maybe landscaping and they may pay for snow removal. Okay. So that cost is not as large as condominium townhome associations that have to add into their monthly dues the factor of insurance. And like with the state of insurance right now, and that is skyrocketing at an exorbitant rate, that has become very daunting because we are at the top of the list in weather-related incidents in the U.S. And so when that happens, the cost of insurance rises and the homeowners have to pay part of that. And so we're seeing what used to be nominal fee for your monthly HOA dues has in some associations has almost doubled, if not tripled, over the last 2 years. So it pays for that, trash service, landscape, snow removal. I have one association have flower beds. So we pay for that. If there's conversation about asphalt repair, those streets and those associations are considered private roads. Those are not city roads. So they are maintained by that association. So that may come at added expense every, 5 years, every 10 years. So all of that adds into what your monthly dues take care of.
And that even just itself, just with the asphalt, is such a benefit. I have benefit. I had a fourplex, actually, and there's several fourplexes, but they all share a common driveway and parking lot. And finding each individual owner of those fourplexes to pitch in to get the asphalt redone. I mean, we had a swimming pool in there where in the summer you could catch frogs in there. It was so deep. That HOA makes a huge difference. And I think that you pointed out too, the safety is huge because as a homeowner, I may look at it as, oh, I'm paying this every month and what do I get? Snow removal and trash. But it's really not that. When you look at the big picture of it as a real estate investor, I may not have $30,000 or $40,000 to put into my home to repair it after 30 years of living there, but I'm paying it monthly to maintain the upkeep of that property. So that way my value is still the same.
Right. And then, when it's time to do that exchange and you decide you don't no longer want to live home and you want to buy another home, those potential buyers look at everything. They look at the road. They look at your roof. They look at your garage. They look at the paint. They look at the stucco. They look at everything aesthetically to determine how that association is maintained to answer the question, do I want to live here? And all of that factors in. So we're doing it, not all of a sudden, oh, wow, everything's gone awry. Now we have to do all this repair. It's going to cost more money. If we look at it monthly, if we look at it annually, and we do that, then everybody wins. We have some associations, I have one now, that they are painting, but they paint on a rotation cycle. So every couple of years, this set of homes are painted or their trim is done. But we're doing it not all at once.
Sure.
We're doing it so that it benefits everybody, as it staggers. Correct. And it's manageable by your HOA dues. Because if we did it all at once, then you have to, look at the opportunity of a special assessment. So we're here to guide the board of directors to utilize their money wisely. That's all that we do. That's what we're supposed to do.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So let's talk about that with the board of directors. How do you know if you have a good board or How do you become a part of the board to make a difference?
We well, boards have their monthly meetings, and you know, my job is to listen. My what I keeps me in my lane, and I say that all the time, is that every board is different, but it's my job to be their help partner in what they believe is their important things to do. I always ask my boards, please provide me with your top 10 list. What do you see? What are the needs of your community? And what is your top 5? And then we look at the money and see, is this affordable? Or do we need to push things out? Or what is a safety issue? If it's a safety issue, then it goes at the top of the list. But if it's not, then we go, okay, does that make sense? Can we do it now? Where are some opportunities that maybe we can cut costs, whether it be fire mitigation, whether it be, looking for grants, what can we do to come alongside you so that you can get those things done that you as the board of directors have deemed as important for your community? So we work alongside of the board of directors. I don't really want the perception to be that I'm the authoritative figure, because I don't live in that community. Sure. I'm here to help. What that looks like, I'm here to help and help to execute. But at the end of the day, the board of directors are usually homeowners that own property there. They have to be, and they know best what's best for their community.
Yeah, I think even at a subconscious level as well, it's like dressing up to go to work. Right. If I work from home and I'm business up top and nothing on the bottom, running around.
Exactly.
I may feel a little bit more free. I may feel a little more wild.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a suit and, a blazer, then I feel more professional. I feel ready for the day.
Right.
So, yeah, keeping that all on the same level, you may not realize that you're keeping your house up to standards, but you really are.
And sometimes people forget when you're in an HOA. An HOA, honestly, is a business. It is a single business for that community and the runs of that business. You have money, you have things that need to be done. It is a miniature business.
Sure.
And so we're here to be your help partner to manage that business. And if I look at it that way, and the board of directors look at it that way, then everybody wins. It's not about having a hidden agenda. Sometimes you do have board members that come on board to go, well, if I get on the board, then I can get this and this and this and this and this done. Honestly, not necessarily, because the things that you want to get done, this and this and this and this and this, does it benefit all or does it benefit just you?
Sure.
And so people have to have a strong sense of community when they get on the board.
And I think that's a great point too, to look at it as a business, maybe change that perspective of it, because that could be a learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
For someone as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're to be the gatekeeper with the money and to make sure things are executed. That's what we do. And that's our purpose.
Right. That's great. Yeah. Tell me about pets. I'm sure you've got some stories. Tell me about pets and the law.
Well, pets are usually defined in your governing documents. Okay. But we help the homeowners to understand that though it may be defined in your governing documents, what's also defined in the county takes precedence as well. So some governing documents say that you can have pets have a certain weight limit. I have one that says 50 pounds or less. Okay. And sometimes I have people that try to push that envelope. Well, my dog is 50.5 pounds. What do we do? And then
you round down.
Yeah, or round up. But then it becomes a question for the board of directors to make that decision. Okay. Sure. But that's another reason why you can always call us as a management company and ask the question, or usually your governing documents will tell you the tale. Sometimes they limit it to number of pets. Okay. The other thing is safety. If you have a pet, you're responsible for your pet, which means your pet should be on a leash, because if it's not, then it poses the potential of causing harm to someone else. So all of those factors are about having a pet. A pet is a huge responsibility. A lot of people think that, I can have a pet and nobody's going to understand or nobody's going to see or question it. It's not true. Not in a covenant community. Pets are a big deal. You're responsible for picking up your pet's waste too when you walk the dog. You're responsible for making sure that your pet isn't aggravating anyone else. You're responsible for, if you decide to leave your pet at home, that it doesn't bark all day. Your pet is an extension of the homeowner. However, the homeowner is 100% responsible for that pet. Based on what the governing documents say, Um, you as a homeowner can be asked to monitor your pet, or you can be asked to not have your pet, but it's based on the governing documents.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we've been a little spoiled, I guess, to not have the other side of that where we don't have any type of representation or anybody to go to for recourse or support anybody who's ever been attacked by a dog or,
Absolutely.
I guess a cat. Let's not limit it to dogs because I'm a dog person, but
Yeah.
you
And,
can
and
get attacked by a bird.
and cats, and a lot of in Colorado Springs, which I find quite interesting, is there are more stray cats than there are stray dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I have never lived anywhere where it is that way, and I'm like, really? And the other thing that homeowners forget is, I live in a covenant community. So I live in an HOA. And I have homeowners, I have lots of squirrels that hang on my trees or whatever, do what they do. But I have homeowners that go, I want to feed the squirrels. Well, hey, that's a city ordinance that you're not supposed to do. So we work hand in hand with the city and the county to determine what's okay. Because when you start taking that precedence, then you're inviting other issues to come along. We have one community where I think in the last 10 years, they had never seen a bear. And this summer we had a bear. And it's on the east side. It's not even on the west side.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a bear sighting. And, people are leaving out food for the squirrels. Well, okay, here comes the bear. They're going to eat. And so when they eat, now they've gotten their familiar. Now they want to come back. So all of these things factor in.
Which we can tend to forget living in Colorado. We're in the mountains.
We're in the mountains, and bears, deer, coyotes, and mountain lions, even though you may not see them every day, they still come and they still exist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about violations. I know that's a big part of HOAs and I guess a big frustration there between owners, tenants, and the HOA company.
It's very important, but we come from the aspect first of having the conversation. I am probably as a manager, HOA manager, and as a CEO of a company, I come from the attitude is let me ask the question first, because life does happen. I'll use the example. I had a lady, Wednesday is trash day. And so she would take her trash bin out Wednesday morning, and then it would take her a couple of days to put her trash bin back in her garage, because those governing documents at that community says your trash bin needs to go back in your garage the same day that your trash is picked up. So it wasn't happening. And the neighbors were just complaining and complaining, but nobody would confront her. So I went over there with the board president and just asked the question, hey, how's it going? Da, 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 da. Did you know about your trash that you need to bring your bin in? She had no idea because her husband was away and he handled all of that.
Yeah.
So she didn't know.
Yeah.
And when she found out, she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. And since then, she's brought her trash into her garage Wednesday afternoon. However, we had a conversation. It got taken care of. Did I have to send a violation? No. Did I have to fine her? No. So I think sometimes we are so quick to send out a violation instead of backtracking and asking the question, did the homeowner know? No, and her and her husband were fairly new, but he was away on business and was away on business for a few months. So he wasn't coming back. She was just doing the best she could, but didn't know the rules of the game. I think the first thing is we have to make sure that homeowners know the rules of the game. And once we establish that they know the rules of the game, then if there's a violation, what I do is I have to go back to the board and ask the question, do you want this violation to be sent to this homeowner? And this is what's happened. And maybe their first offense, they say, let's see what happens. Can you just reach out to them? Or maybe they're a repeat offender and they go, yeah, send out the violation. You have to weigh it out. Everything is not a cookie cutter. Even though your documents say it is, yes, that takes a precedence, but sometimes you just have to know that life gets in the way.
I love that. Yeah, what a beautiful way to involve community,
Yeah.
And just break it down to being people.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
We all have experienced life. Post-COVID, if anyone tells me they haven't experienced life, then they're really not living, because post-COVID changed a lot. And sometimes for okay and sometimes for not okay. But at the end of the day, we all experience life and we don't get to decide how life is going to happen. We just have to be prepared for it when it does.
I love that. Well, that was a great example that you gave. I had an example of on the other side of it with property management, where I had tenants, part of an HOA community, who contribute as well to the community. They decided to abandon the property and left half of their living room on the front yard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
we can have it both ways, but I think I think when you have communication, that really becomes a help outmate versus a hindrance.
Yeah.
I had a gentleman come into my office, very agitated, very upset. He'd sent a very interesting email, very agitated email. But when he walked in the office and realized that I was none of those things that he had put in his email, he goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." I said, we did things because we felt that we needed to. We didn't do things because we felt like we had to. We understand that things happen, and he was going back to Kansas and had to go take care of a family situation and this and that. I said, we will be very accommodating. Just let me know, and we can accommodate. It's when I don't know that I don't know what to do next. We have open communication. Call us, let us know, and we will see what we can do. And we become sometimes, as an association manager, the go-between between the homeowner or the tenant and the board of directors.
I think that's a great point, because I have those same frustrations as well as a property manager. I understand life can happen. I understand you may be 3 days late on your rent. I just need to know.
Correct.
I need communication. I need to know that you intend on paying rent, but life happened. Let me know so I can make a note on the account and
and
get back on track again.
Hang on, Andrea. You know what? I just lost my job. I just got my job back. I just getting my first check. I know my dues are due on the 1st. And sidebar to that, Colorado law says all HOA dues are due on the 1st of the month. The grace is what the governing documents say in between, what the grace period is. Sometimes a grace period can be 20 days, 25 days. I have one association that the dues are due on the 1st. They're late on the 2nd. So, but your documents determine if there's a grace period, not us and not the board of directors, the documents. So if you tell me, hey, I'll be able to pay you on this day. Okay, I'm going to take you at your word. Okay, fine. It stays in my office until such a time as it becomes obsessive or becomes, not okay. Then I have to
take an advantage.
Correct. Right. But in between time, okay. And usually they come right on in and it's great. Oh my God, you didn't charge a late. No, life happens. Life happens to me as well.
I think it's a really great point that you made, that you're not making the rules. You're just enforcing what the governing documents.
That is correct.
And that's correct. A lot of what we do as well, is we're not making the legislative rules.
Correct.
We're just enforcing what the law says.
Correct.
Because we're bound by our license.
Correct. And what I really advocate is that you can enforce, but you can enforce with kindness. You don't have to be obstinate about it, and you don't have to give the perception that you're above anyone. This is an even playing field here. Absolutely. And as long as you're breathing, you all are going to have an experience, whether positive or whether not so positive. But if we all have understanding, then things will get done, and they will get done well. I don't have to be an adversary and tell someone what they need to do. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to be your help partner, and according to the governing documents, to help the board of directors and the homeowners. That's my purpose.
I love that. So tell me, what can tenants do? Are tenants able to get involved as much as homeowners? Obviously, there's going to be some difference there. An owner has a little bit more buy-in, but what are things that tenants can do?
And tenants can, treat where they live at as their own. That's the biggest thing. I have some homeowners that allow their tenants to be integrally involved. I have one community, they do from spring to fall, they do activities at least once a month. And they include all the tenants in all their activities. It is so cool.
Yeah.
They do a Friday wine tasting. They did in September a taco party. But they invite anybody that lives in that community because they want, it's your place to live. So how you help is make sure that where you live at, you're treating it like your own, so that people shouldn't be able to tell this house is rented and this one is owned. Should never be able to have that distinction. But at the end of the day, the homeowner has the control as to, how involved the tenant can be. But when it comes to that unit or that home, whether it be monetarily, things that need to be repaired, this and that is a homeowner's responsibility. But we always ask homeowners, please share with us who is living in that home in case there's an emergency. And the biggest emergency here in this city is weather-related incidents. If we have a tornado warning or we're getting a massive snowfall, I would like to know who that tenant is because we send out massive emails and we'd like to include them so that they don't feel left out and that they know that, hey, we're expected 10 inches or we're here high winds or, we have a tornado warning or this and that, or we have, a hailstorm coming. Please conduct yourself accordingly. If you need our help, please reach out. This is our number. We do that. We don't have a problem letting everyone know. So tenants are an integral part of that community. Yeah.
I think that's so huge, especially with just going through COVID.
Correct.
If there is a national emergency, they need to be involved. They are people as well. They're in the community.
And even if something as simple as they're going on vacation for 2 weeks, if you let us know, hey, the homeowner can reach me and go, hey, Andrea, my tenant is on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm not there either. Can you just maybe look at their property? I don't have to go in. I don't have to, but I'm on notice that that unit is empty for a certain length of time. I'm going to alert the neighbors and my team that, hey, we need to make sure that place is okay.
That's good to know. So how can we partner together and in the industry, as real estate agents, HOA managers, property managers, how can we partner to elevate the entire industry?
I think for us, we're the HOA management company, and we sometimes, I don't have it as much now because what I've seen is realtors really reach out to me asking for governing documents. Is there any extenuating circumstances in this community? So that level of communication has been really helpful for us, for the new homeowners, because a few years ago, it would be the homeowner would call me and be very upset, like, how come I got to pay? I don't know I had to pay. I'm like, how do you not know?
Yeah.
Right. But part of that is that you have to know now. You have to know that you're going to reside in a covenant community. The other piece of that is when we fill out the status letter, we let that title company and that those realtors know that is that owner able to lease their unit? Because sometimes there are lease restrictions in those communities, and this community, you cannot be an investor in this community. It says it must be owner occupied. So we do our part too to let them know. And then property managers we help with that, because if I have a homeowner that is leasing their property, then we ask who is the property manager or who's the property management company. So we ask those questions so that everybody's eyes are wide open. And then we know that if that's tenant occupied, and then if there's an issue, I already know I'm not going to go to that person at that address. I'm going to go to the homeowner. So I think to answer your question in a grand scale, it's communication and letting us know. We're not the adversary. We're the help partner. And if we know, then it makes it easier for everyone. Yeah. I mean, I had a tenant. He had no idea he was in a covenant community. And he went and called and ordered his trash. I'm like, what are you doing? But he didn't know. So we had to call the owner and say, you do realize your tenant set up trash service, right? She goes, no. I said, you might want to let him know he didn't have to do that because that's part of what your HOA dues pay for.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the biggest thing is communication, making them feel that they're a part of the community. But we each need to do our small part so that everybody's comfortable and everybody's eyes are wide open.
Are there things that property managers can do to help assist you in managing the HOA?
My biggest thing is make sure the tenants know the rules of the game. Pets are a big thing. I had to call because I had one tenant that had a dog, and the dog, he was really spiteful. He would go and have this dog do his business in the other person's yard. And, the lady would get really upset. So I called the property manager and I said, hey, I'm just asking, can you help with this, right? But what I didn't know is the lease that the person signed said no pets. So she goes, dog? They don't have a dog. So that created another ball of wax. I didn't do that intentionally. I had no idea. All I knew was that this dog was doing this, but to find out that the tenant had to leave because she goes, how long has they had the dog? I said, well, we've been managing about 3 or 4 years, and they've always had a dog. She goes, "Are you kidding me?" They had no idea. So now I just walked into another situation that I had no idea I was walking into. But the tenant knew. The tenant was fully aware. But had we not had that communication, nobody would have.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think just to let us know, keep us informed of what's going on, that really helps us too. It's not that I want to be nosy. I have enough work. I'm very busy. I don't want to be nosy.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to make sure if someone, a homeowner or a board of directors asks me, I should be able to answer them truthfully instead of saying I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That helps to clarify some things, because it's a little frustrating too when we're bound by certain laws that I think legislators don't understand, and they're passing these rules and restrictions on us, saying you have to allow an ESA dog, and we have no control over it. But the HOA has no idea. They just see 3 pit bulls, not realizing that they're approved service animals.
And that's exactly, and that's how we can inform too, because we are bound by those same rules and laws as well.
Right.
But if I don't know, then I'm at a loss, So I'm going to ask gingerly. We as association managers need to ask the question also. I don't believe that the burden should be left with just a property manager. We need to be the ones to ask the question too. We see that there's a dog at this residence because it could be a dog just visiting. I mean, we need to know that too. It could be like my brother came and he has a dog and they're only here for a week. Now I know. So now when the board asks me, I can answer truthfully. That's what it's all about. But I have to be the one to be forthright to ask the question as well.
That's fair enough. What are there things that you would like to know from a property management side, or things that you would like us to know about HOA management, I guess?
We're the good guys.
Yeah.
we're
not enemies.
Absolutely. We're here to be in partnership to help,
exactly.
Because when we do that, the homeowner and the tenant wins. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to collaborate and make sure that it's aesthetically is okay. I'm a real proponent as when you go into a community, I should never know, unless I know just by the familiar, who's leasing and who owns. I should never know that. If I'm just driving in the driveway or driving in the community, I should never know that. Because if I do, it sets them up for things that are not safe. And I don't want that. Yeah. We all need to work together because it's that person's home for the time that they're there. And people go, well, it's always the tenants that make it look bad. Not necessarily. I have homeowners that make things look bad too. But we all need to work together so that community aesthetically looks amazing and that people want to live there. And then that the homeowners are excited that they bought the property. The single largest investment, or one of the most single largest investment in the US, is the purchase of a home. You need to have pride in the fact that you purchased that home.
Absolutely.
And we're here to help you with that. I'm not here to badmouth and say, oh my God, why would you do that? I'm here to go, okay, you bought it here. Let's make sure that you know that this was the best investment that you made with your money. That's my job.
Absolutely. What a great way to end it. Thank you again so much for your time and doing this with me.
Thank you for asking. I'm quite honored. So thank you so much.
Of course. I've known you for several years, Andrea, and it's been such an honor and a blessing to know you and call you my friend. So,
right back at you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was good.
All right. Wow. Thank you for joining us. This is Spring's Uncovered. Till next time, keep your properties in check and your sanity intact.